Y'all, what's poppin'? It's your boy JP. I got another one for y'all today. We're gonna be tuning into kidnapper tries to manipulate interviewer after teen victim outsmarts him. The Elizabeth Shoaf case. So if you heard about this case prior, let me know in the comments. And if it's your first time, let me know what you think about the situation, how everything played out. We're gonna jump right in it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. And yeah, let's check it out. One.
Elizabeth, she's, I don't know how to say it, she's pretty much a wild person.
This man is accused of holding a 14-year-old girl captive. In this interview filmed just hours before his trial, you're about to see him try to convince the host that the girl is an accomplice.
I mean, it was like she was on TV every time, and it was exciting. It was like a vacation for her. I mean, we were having a good time. I mean, no more school for her, you know, it was just hanging out.
The first question he asked her was whether or not she was a virgin. There are certain images, Your Honor, she told me she will never forget.
She could have went home anytime.
Yo, you could tell this dude is definitely sick in the head, but just from just looking at him, you could tell this is probably one of these dudes that grew up and never had no attention from no girl ever. Like, nobody ever tried to talk to him, and you could just tell by his whole demeanor, how he talks. He looks like a square. It's just, he's not a good look at all.
Wanted to.
He took this chain, put it around her neck, wrapped it around her neck.
Are you saying that she was a willing participant the whole time?
Yeah.
14-year-old Elizabeth Shoaf, kidnapped, assaulted, trapped for 10 days. But she escaped, outsmarting the man who took her. When she got out, she made sure Vincent Filial would never terrorize anyone else ever again.
We didn't save her, she saved herself.
In the small town of Shoaf, South Carolina, 14-year-old Elizabeth Shoaf lives with her family. She's excited about starting high school and a boy she began dating.
Freshman year, that's when everything starts.
September 6, 2006, 4:30 p.m. Madeline Shoaf is at work, worried because her daughter Elizabeth didn't call her after school.
Donnie answered the phone and I was like, "Where's your sister at?" And he said, "She's not home yet." And I was like, "Well, she should have been home by now."
Madeline leaves work right away and rushes home. She calls her daughter's friends to see if they know him.
Yo, look, just the way this whole scene is set up, like you could tell it's like in the country somewhere. And just the fact, if there's gonna be anybody that's trying to kidnap somebody, this is like the perfect place for you to even do it. It's not a city, it's in woods. So you could be an easy target when you living like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, look how far the neighbors are from each other right here. Like, it's crazy.
Her husband Don gets home too, and they search around the house for clues as to where Elizabeth might have gone.
All her favorite clothes were there, her music, everything.
Nothing missing out of the house.
Yeah, nothing was missing.
So she ain't run away.
Madeline calls friends and family to come help search for Elizabeth, knocking on every door, fanning out across the neighborhood, but still, no trace of Elizabeth is found.
I knew something had happened to her. So at that point, I called 911.
It's 7:30. The police show up at the house. They begin their investigation.
You know, anytime a young person is missing, a lot of times they just run away. You know, they just get mad about something.
We both know that she's not going to run away.
That's uncharacteristic of her. She was not that type of child.
That is kind of true though. Once kids reach that age, 14, 15, 16, you know, you start growing up and you realizing things and you think you know it all. And in a lot of cases, a lot of kids do that where they just run away from home, you know. But in this case, as we seeing, every kid is not really like that, and there was no motive behind her just running away. She's coming from school, she never made it home, so it's kind of suspicious right there.
The police don't take any chances. They interrogate kids who were on the bus home from school. Everyone recalls seeing her get off, even walking with her up the road.
She was really happy because her aunt was coming down.
We walked about halfway up the road and a friend of mine's brother comes with his car and picks us up. She didn't want to ride.
At that point, nobody knows anything. She's like she just disappeared.
September 7th, a full-scale search is launched. Tracking dogs, air support, ATVs. Local TV stations pick up the story, broadcasting Elizabeth's picture.
Elizabeth Shoaf walked off her school bus and vanished into thin air.
She went to Lugoff Elgin High School Wednesday wearing the clothes you see here.
I just want
with you.
That shit gotta be so heartbreaking to have your daughter missing, or any child missing.
Volunteers start pouring in to help with ground search and handing out flyers. Days pass, and no new leads have been found.
I mean, I'm sure at the moment they probably wasn't thinking she was like kidnapped or anything of that nature, but I look at it like this too. As far as once you broadcast like everything on TV, let's say she was kidnapped. You know, most sickos that kidnap kids and like rapists and stuff like that, they do this thing where they like to watch the news while they have the person kidnapped and stuff like that. So it's kind of like setting alerts too, whereas if that was the case at the time that they obviously didn't know, he could honestly just move and take her somewhere else, you know?
You just get that policeman's feeling, that gut feeling that, you know, this really looks like it's going to turn out bad.
September 13th. It's been 7 days since Elizabeth disappeared.
Man. Them parents gotta be destroyed at this point.
Less and less people show up to help out. Fewer helicopters in the sky. A friend of the family is holding a vigil for Elizabeth, and Madeline is getting ready to go there. As she checks her phone for any new messages, she sees a text message from an unknown number. The message will change the course of the entire investigation.
Hey Mom, it's Lizzie. I'm in a hole in the ground near Charm Hill. It's near that dirt road where those big trucks go. Get the police. They'll be careful. He has bombs hidden.
This message gives hope to the mother, but she still doesn't know what happened to Elizabeth, or what she had to go through to send that message. September 6th, the day of the abduction, Elizabeth is walking home from the bus stop with her friends.
Bus ride home was typical as any other day. I continued walking home by myself.
Walking through trails like that as a 14-year-old? Look at this.
I could hear my dogs barking at me.
While she's walking down the drive,
as any other
look at this, y'all.
I continued walking home by myself and got up into the driveway.
This whole walk for a 14-year-old? No.
I could see the house. I could hear my dogs barking at me.
While she's walking down the driveway, she hears rustling leaves close by. A man walks up to her, wearing camouflage pants, a green shirt, and a hand-drawn badge that looked like the Berkshire County Sheriff's. He says he's a policeman, that they found marijuana on the property.
This dude
is
sick.
Her little brother is already in custody, and that she needs to come with him.
Almost immediately when you mentioned my brother, I was concerned.
That just tell you he was watching her for a long time.
I agreed to approach him. I had a gut feeling that I had made a bad decision.
He puts handcuffs on her wrists and a collar around her neck with a box hanging from it. He says it's a bomb and that if she tries anything, it will detonate. Then he takes her far into the woods, away from her house.
He was asking me just like the oddest questions, if I had a phone and if I was a virgin.
When I would continue to ask him where the police were or where my brother was, he had said that I was a smart girl and I probably should have already figured it out. I'm just crying, you know, asking, you know, don't kill me, don't hurt me. I remember being terrified.
Finally, they stop in the middle of the woods. Elizabeth fears the worst.
I thought that was where he was going to me and kill me.
The man reaches down and pulls up a hatch door from the ground, hidden among the leaves.
He had told me to go down the ladder and get into
Yeah, I wonder if this dude was like in the military at some point. Like, bro, you gotta be super sick in the head for you to even dig a hole in the ground to put somebody in there. Like, who even thinks about stuff like this? And like I said before, he probably was already watching her for a long time. They usually like to target, you know, people that are like vulnerable, especially like when it's kids. This is crazy, man. I feel bad for her already.
The bunker. He had like a rifle and a belt that had guns and handcuffs, and I saw a taser in it. So I knew he was well equipped to do anything if I acted stupid or whatever. He pretty much just raped me.
Right away?
Pretty much. I had looked off to the side to one of the shelves that were there. There was like a propane tank and dishes and stuff on it. Stared at it and cried.
Elizabeth is shattered, alone on the bed. Her attacker binds her, making sure she can't escape. September 7th, Elizabeth learns the man's name is Vincent Filia. He makes her watch TV while he feeds her. The local news channel shows Elizabeth's mother pleading for help.
That's crazy, bro, because I said the same thing. These dudes, these weirdos, bro, that's into kids, they do stuff like that, bro. And I've seen it and heard about it a million times, you know, where they really like they get off on watching, you know, their family suffer looking for the kid while, or this whole time they got him captured in an environment like that. I can't even imagine what she was even thinking about. As a 14-year-old, you on your way home from school, you hear your dog's on your way to your house, and then this weirdo just comes out of nowhere and changes your whole life. And the sad thing about it is, like, she's traumatized forever. Just this one moment is traumatizing. This is not something that she will ever forget. And I'm pretty sure she's, you know, she probably regrets like going with him, because obviously if you're the victim of something, you always think about, damn, maybe I should have did something different, or maybe it's my fault that this happened to me, you know. And it's messed up.
I just want my baby home. If anybody sees her, please.
This reminds her of the conversation she had with her mother that morning. She regrets her last words to her.
Because when I left that morning, I was mad.
Oh, so they probably did. They did have an argument.
And then now that you're missing, you wish you could say sorry. You love her and all that, but couldn't.
Every day, my story was on television. Watching my mom, my sister, my aunts beg for me, I just knew I couldn't give up.
September 9th, Elizabeth and her captor can hear helicopters flying overhead, and soon, footsteps. This gives her hope, but Vincent panics.
They was on top of it.
If she screams or tries anything, he will shoot her.
I could actually see their shadows walking across the door above me. And I'm just sitting there while they're right above me.
The footsteps disappear, and soon it dawns on her. The only way she'll ever get out alive is by saving herself.
He would go to sleep, and I would just sit there and ponder as to what I could possibly do to get out of the situation.
This dude had a whole apartment in there.
As she's sleeping one night, she musters the courage to use Vincent's gun. She grabs the holster and puts it down. As she attempts to remove the Velcro, every noise she makes threatens to wake Vincent up, but she continues slowly until finally the gun is free. This is her chance.
Shoot him.
I placed it up to his head and pulled the trigger, and it got jammed.
Oh my
She puts the gun back.
And you know what? You know what sucks about this and the system that we live in is, if she would have pulled that trigger and killed that man, she probably wouldn't have went to jail for like murder or something like that. Because I've seen many cases where dudes, you know, have girls as prostitutes, rape them, do all these crazy things to them, and if they do come on the good side of it and murder these dudes, they'll go to jail, which sucks, man. Because it's like, damn, so you go through all this thing to get out, and at the end of the day, you basically lose.
Crying. The next morning, Elizabeth tries something different. She pretends that she's beginning to like him.
He would start to call me nicknames like baby, and I would call him that back. He would tell me he loved me, I'd tell him I loved him.
Vincent is beginning to trust her.
Oh, she's playing mind games.
He agrees to unbind her. It's September 13th, 1 week since the abduction. Vince takes Elizabeth out for a walk, where he shows her a few booby traps.
She got him comfortable. Wow.
He also takes out
as
his
a 14-year-old, that's
phone,
smart.
To text his girlfriend. Elizabeth listens to his nonsense while
and
he
this
talks,
weirdo got a girlfriend.
But all she can think about is that phone. It's nighttime. Vincent falls asleep, and Elizabeth quietly gets out of bed. She opens Vincent's phone and begins writing a text to her mother. For each letter, she has to press multiple times. She hopes Vincent won't wake up before she can send the text. After pressing send, the message says it failed.
And I would go up to the door, and I would try to get signal right at the door. I pressed send. I was terrified that he might wake up and see me. If he did, I knew he would have killed me. And I would continually press send, and it just failed.
Elizabeth tries again and again, even the following night, but her messages never go through. It's September 15th. For the first time in days, they can hear helicopters in the air. Vincent panics, wondering why the search has regained momentum, and so he turns on the news.
They finally put out that my mom had got a text message from me.
Oh my God.
He asked me if it was me. I began crying.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, why would you even do that? Just in case the dude is watching, you giving all this alert. So I know at this point, her hopes is all the way down, where she's like, I tried my best. I got the message across, which she's so brave for, and God was on her side, man. And that's a beautiful thing as a 14-year-old, just to have that courage and heart to, you know, want to get out the situation so bad that you take a risk with your life. Because I'm pretty sure if he would have caught her doing something like that, he probably would have just ended up killing her, just out of him being scared of getting caught. So she's brave, and the courage is crazy. It's outstanding, to be honest. But putting this on the news, you could make things worse, because now he obviously knows that that text came from somewhere. It's only them two there.
Told him I loved him. I wouldn't do that to him.
You could tell he was trying to gather his thoughts, figure out what he needed to do next to save himself.
And then, Vincent actually asks her what she thinks he should do.
He was just asking me if he should pack stuff up and go ahead and start leaving, or if he should stay and wait it off. And I just told him that he needed to pack his stuff and leave while he could, because if so, the police are gonna get him, and I didn't want him in jail.
Wow, bro, she's so smart.
I acted like I wanted him to be safe. His last steps out the ladder now.
At 14 to be that smart?
And shut it and tied it up right there behind him.
Wow.
Elizabeth is finally alone. She's not sure if it's really happening. She doesn't risk leaving right away because he might be waiting outside. Instead, she waits until morning. September 16th, Elizabeth wakes up to find she's still alone. She doesn't waste another second and goes up the ladder. Once outside, the thought of stepping onto one of his bombs stops her from running off.
I just looked around it was the first time I saw the outside in daytime, so it was just beautiful to see the trees and feel the fresh air again. But I couldn't hear anybody around me, so I decided to yell. Somebody finally yelled my name back. I instantly just fell to the ground and started crying. The captain.
Yo, she did it. She did it. Like, just, man, her heart, the courage, her outsmarting him is on another level. This is a predator. This is a dude that I'm pretty sure this was not his first rodeo in a situation like this. So for a 14-year-old to just get in his head and play the part and act like she was enjoying everything that was going on, even though she didn't, it worked.
Ended up giving me a hug. I was in tears. I didn't know what to do. But he told me I was okay and, you know, I was safe now. I didn't have to worry about anything.
One of our guys actually carried her up the hill to the command post where we had the ambulance standing by. When she got just about almost there, she said, "I'm all right." And she gets down and she's walking, and she's basically saying, "I'm walking out of here."
About 7:30, I see the white truck come up the road. I was like, oh my God. Captain Tom was very excited. He was just so ecstatic, you could tell he was crying. He told us the day I found her, and I was just like, oh my God. I was just so happy, I just could not quit crying.
The best feeling ever to hug my parents again, to just feel my mom holding me.
This situation just makes me think too. I'm from New York, and I want to say, was it like after the pandemic? So what we're gonna say, 2020, 2021, after the lockdown and stuff, we started noticing a lot of girls were going missing. And me, I've lived here my whole entire life, and that's something, obviously it happens once in a while. You kind of hear a story where like kidnappings are going on and stuff, but at that time this was something that was big. Like every single day multiple girls were getting, you know, taken away from their families, kidnapped, and it's scary just having a young sister as well. The only great thing about it was that, you know, they was homeschooled, but it was scary because you never know. You can never be in a situation where you think, oh, it can't happen to my family, because it can happen to anybody, you know. That's just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or just being prayed for and you don't even know. But in my city, it was hitting crazy, man. I was just watching the news every day, like girls was just coming up missing and missing and missing and missing, and that's like a scary feeling, you know. It's like when you have siblings young, that's not a good feeling at all. It's very, very scary. So you could just, the best you could do is just try to have them stay home as much as possible. If they going outside, it has to be with somebody that could protect them in case anything goes wrong.
I know that I was with her again and she didn't have to worry about me.
In South Carolina, a 14-year-old girl is back home this evening after a horrific ordeal. Authorities say she was kidnapped by a man who sexually assaulted her and locked her inside an underground bunker.
Elizabeth is safe, but Vincent Filya is still on the run. A few hours later, police get a tip from a woman saying she encountered Vincent as he tried to steal her car.
I mean, a long knife hanging off his belt. Pretty much all I saw was his face. I recognized him from the internet. I was kind of cursing him out for doing this in front of my child, for putting my child through this. He's already hurt one little girl. He knew he wasn't getting my keys, and he said, okay, never mind, and he started running down the sidewalk.
Police act quickly and locate him a few hours later.
I think it took Vincent about a minute to deny everything, and that this was all made up, that the truth would come out in the end.
Vincent agreed to an interview with Dateline's Keith Morrison hours before his trial.
It's all gonna come out in court anyway. Elizabeth, she's, I don't know how to say it, she's pretty much a wild person.
Are you saying that she was a willing participant the whole time?
Yeah.
No, she wasn't a willing participant. What she did was she outsmarted your weirdo ass over here preying on young girls, bro. Like, yo, if you want to have some type of interaction with a woman, you could pay for it. Like, why mess up a young girl's life at 14 years old, virgin, and you want to be the one to traumatize her forever? She was not enjoying none of that. You was just a weirdo, and she outsmarted you.
Elizabeth has barely time to recover from the traumatic 10 days she spent in the bunker with Vincent Filya, that she already has to face him in court. But like she said,
I wanted to go.
You could see the pain in her face,
too. It was weird to look at Vincent because I kind of felt happy just because I knew that he was locked up and I'm sitting there in the courtroom while he's in jail.
All she asked, Your Honor, is sentence him so that this can never happen to anyone else.
I can think of no crimes short of murder.
Yup.
More
don't under the jail, weirdo.
Than these 17 different indictments and charges that have been brought against you. All sentences to run consecutive. Good luck to you, sir.
How many years he
got? Was sentenced to 421 years in prison without the possibility of parole.
I remember Elizabeth saying,
you could be born
like, yeah,
1,000 times and you're still going to be locked up.
I think of it because I don't want to forget it, because that's something I accomplished that a lot of people might not have. It makes me feel good to know that I got to get through something like that.
How do you go through hell like that for 10 days and just come out on the other side as strong as she did? There's no playbook to tell her what she should have done down there. There may be one now because she made all the right moves.
I don't think you could ever really move past something like that happening to you. It's always going to be there, but as the years go on, things do get easier.
Oh, she have a kid?
She's a loving mother, grateful for a new, beautiful life.
Really just trying to live life to the fullest. Now that I have a child, I'm, of course,
that's a beautiful baby.
His best life possible as well.
Elizabeth understands that the healing journey will take time, but she also sees the extent of her own strength. Elizabeth Shoaf looked terror in the face and saved herself.
That's crazy. But y'all, this is the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Man, overall, listen, her courage is on a whole nother level, man. She did it. She outsmarted this predator, this weirdo that had her for 10 days, going probably through the worst things that she's ever gonna go through in life. But she overcame it. She got him 400 years, so now he ain't never gonna be able to do this to nobody ever again, you know, which is like the blessing in all this, and she was a huge part of it. It's just sad, bro, because it's like there's really people out here that really prey on younger people, and I don't know and I don't understand what's like grown-ass men infatuation with like preying on younger women, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, there's women out here that you could pay and get it. You ain't gotta do all this, bro. You ain't gotta traumatize for somebody forever. And that's what I think, that's the part that they don't understand. It's like, yo, you doing this as this person where the way she risks her, the way she lives the rest of her life, although yeah, things get better, but she's always gonna think about this. I'm sure she thinks about this every single day. She probably has flashbacks of this going on, and it's kind of like messed up, you know. That's something that you don't really do to anybody, and I'm just happy that they gave him 400 years and she was a big part of it, and she outsmarted this weirdo. But y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the kid, and to the next one. I'm out of here.